Damn it, it's official, all right? I finally got my third official IRL deck locked in, all right? No more theoretical, oh, this is totally going to be my next build. No more, oh, wow, this new spoiled commander from this set looks incredible. I'm 100% going to build this. No more, oh, this is my dream commander. No, I built it, and it's Mardu. And if you know anything about me, I hate Mardu. It's also a go tall commander. And if you know anything else about me, I hate go tall. So why do I like this commander so much? Well, let's get into it and talk about it. If you want to like, comment, and subscribe before we get into that, I'd appreciate it. But let's talk about Kelsian the Plague. Kelsian the Plague is a red, a white, and a black 2/2 vigilance haste. Kelsian the Plague gets +1/+1 for each experience counter you have. Tap Kelsian, deal 1 damage to target creature you don't control. When that creature dies this turn, you get an experience counter. Now, like I said, this would normally be a hard pass for me. A Mardu go tall commander? Yeah, I'm alright on that. Until someone in the chat brought up, hey Nick, experience counters go on you. They don't go away, so even if they do handle Kelsian, he'll come back just as big as he was before. Okay, yeah, that kind of takes away the go tall problem I had with it, but I don't really like Mardu. Or so I thought, because this deck opened up a can of worms, or more so a can of questions, that once I answered all these questions led to one of my favorite decks I've played in a while. So let's start with question number 1. How are we going to gain experience counters off of Kelsian? The first question was an obvious one. How do we get experience counters from Kelsian's ping ability? Well, we could ping early game creatures like Esper's Sentinel, Landalore Elves, Reclamation Sage to get some easy experience counters. But past this, I think DEATHTOUCH is just the most obvious and easiest way to get his ping ability to be the most deadly. So running things like Rune of Mortality being an aura that gives DEATHTOUCH will be a great option. Falthish Shadowcat Familiar gives all of our commanders DEATHTOUCH. All Out Assault is a really cool option, being a 5-drop enchantment, gives our board +1/+1, gives our board DEATHTOUCH, and when it enters, we untap, get an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. Meaning we can swing with Kelsian, because he has Vigilance, tap Kelsian to ping something, play All Out Assault on post-combat main, untap your stuff, swing again with Kelsian, tap him, now he has DEATHTOUCH, KO a problem creature, pretty cool to me. We also run Vorpal's Sword, giving DEATHTOUCH on an equipment and potentially a win con, being able to take players out of the game, and of course, Basilisk Collar being a cheap equipment that gives DEATHTOUCH and lifelink, being extra good because, obviously, the DEATHTOUCH interacts with his ping, but the lifelink comes in handy once Kelsian gets huge late game and we start swinging with him, so we can get some huge life gains off of that. We also run a small package of pingers to help us finish off creatures that Kelsian couldn't quite KO, so stuff like Deathbringer Thoktar getting a 1/1 counter whenever anything dies, and then being able to remove 1/1 counters to ping something, it seemed like a no-brainer in here. Or something like Olivia Valderin being able to ping creatures, turn them into vampires, and then gain control of vampires could be an alternate win condition, also just a good way to ping, and of course, Tai Wakeen being able to pay X and literally finish off any creature that was pinged for perfect damage. Now, of course, the deck also runs Thornbite Staff. We'll get that out of the way right now, giving Kelsian the ability to untap whenever a creature dies, and also giving Kelsian DEATHTOUCH is pretty much GG's because nothing can stick on board and Kelsian is going to get huge. Speaking of Kelsian getting huge, another great way to stack up counters is untapping Kelsian to use him more. So cards like Sting the Glinting Dagger being an equipment that untaps Kelsian during each player's combat step is incredible. Prop Room being an enchantment that untaps our creatures during other players' untap steps. Both make fantastic options for using Kelsian more and more. Or you could just use a creature like Marvin Murderous Mimic to literally just get another copy of Kelsian, because weirdly enough, Kelsian's experience counter is part of his activated abilities, so Marvin Murderous Mimic, gaining all activated abilities of creatures we control, means we have 2 instances of Kelsian's experience counters that we could potentially have go off, which very, very good. But no, these aren't the only ways we can get experience counters in this deck. We run some cards that just help us get more experience counters through Kelsian, like Metastatic Evangel, turning all of our non-creature ETBs into a Proliferate, which yes, we can use on experience counters, or Lae'zel, which says whenever we put a counter on a permanent or a player, we put an additional one. So yes, she will also give us additional experience counters. And we're not done, because we also run creatures that will straight up give us more experience counters and interact with experience counters we already have, like Minthara gaining Ward X equal to our experience and giving our whole board a +1/+0 equal to our experience. That seems pretty good. And at the end of each of our turns with Minthara, if a permanent left the battlefield, we get an experience counter. That seems fine to me. Azula giving us experience counters when she attacks and we discard a card, while also being able to pay 2 and a black to give her +1/+1 for each experience counter and menace makes her a serious threat. And Othari being a giant phoenix that makes a ton of 2/2 rebels tapped and attacking equal to our experience, while also giving us more experience when she attacks, makes all of these great ways to get more experience in the deck. I still need to pick up the mono white experience Aang and the black white experience Daxus as well, because both of those would be insane in this deck. But I digress. So the first question, definitively answered. We have tons of ways to get experience counters in this deck, but that led to my next question. What do we do to protect ourselves while we are tapping out? The thing with this deck is, Kelsian is a huge way we are getting experience counters, and using Kelsian's ability is going to be a big part of our deck, but that's going to leave us open, especially in the early game, quite often. So we're going to need some cards that are going to act as deterrents, or PILLOWOFRT-esque cards that are going to make opponents not really want to attack us, so we can fire off our game plan behind this wall. So running cards like Crawl Space, which can make it so only 2 creatures can attack each turn, cards like Ghostly Prison or Windborn Muse, which both make opponents pay 2 mana per creature attacking us, or Over Encumbered, which makes an enchanted opponent pay 1 for each artifact they control to attack us, which is nuts. Or something like Crackdown that makes every non-white creature with power 3 or greater not untap during its controller's untap step. So look at that. Kelsian's going to untap. Anything that's not white and has 3 or greater power will not untap. That seems like a great way to keep some of those big things off of us. The next way we can protect our tapped out self is by playing token generators to create chump blockers. Cards like Bitter Blossom will just give us a 1/1 flying fairy on our upkeep for 1 life, which is a great chump blocker. A card like Queen Marchesa will introduce the Monarch to help us draw cards, but if an opponent has Monarch, we'll start pumping out 1/1 Death Touch Assassins, again, fantastic chump blocker, or a card like At Knife Point being perfect for this deck, giving us a 1/1 Mercenary whenever we commit a crime. And would you look at that, Kelsian is committing a crime because we're targeting an opponent's creature. And lastly, to keep creatures off of us, Mass Goad is fantastic. So a card like Disrupt Decorum being 2 and 2 red to just goad all creatures would be great, or a card like Carter Doomscourge being pretty much the same thing except on a body, both fantastic to keep creatures off of us. The Goad also doubling as like a potential win con, because have you played with Goad cards? They're kind of busted. So you could see how like Kelsian gets a bunch of experience counters. Kelsian's getting a bunch of 1/1s because of our experience counters. So then we could do something like Rogue's Passage and bash someone with Kelsian, get commander damage pretty easily. But this kind of led to the next question in my brain, which is, what if they just hard hate Kelsian off the board? What if we just can't get Kelsian to stick? How do we win the game? My first response to this would be that Kelsian only costs 3 mana, so they would have to hate him pretty hard for him to be unplayable, especially since we keep experience counters and he'll come back just as big, and we also run Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots. But if they manage to, we got you covered. The first way that we could win is by giving one of our other pinger creatures Death Touch to keep the board clean and deal damage with something huge like Deathbringer Thoktar or creatures we've stolen with Olivia. Past this, the other experience counters creatures can kind of swap in as our new commander and help us win the game. Minthara giving an Anthem equal to the number of experience we have could definitely win us a game. She also gives that to herself, so she acts literally almost like a second Kelsian. Azula giving herself a 1/1 buff that you can also use multiple times, equal to the number of experience counters we have, and also give herself Menace, could win a game for sure. And Othari being an army and a can equal to the experience counters we have, 100%, could win the game. Focus on their abilities and generate value from there. But my favorite way to win a game in this deck, outside of Kelsian and all these pingers and all the experience, is Court of Grace and Court of Embereth. Both absolutely disgusting. They both introduce Monarch, so we can get card draw off of them. Court of Grace giving us 4/4 Angels if we are the Monarch. If we aren't, we get 1/1 Spirits. And Court of Embereth giving us 3/1 Knights if we're giving us 3/1 Knights no matter what. But if we're the Monarch, dealing damage to each opponent equal to the number of creatures we control. Yeah, both of these got hated off the board the second I played them, and Court of Grace actually ended up being part of the reason we won the game with Kelsian. So both fantastic at winning games. Especially with all of our attack deterrent and PILLOWOFRT cards, we're just building up an army in a can over here. But yeah, that's the Kelsian the Plague list that I'm working with right now. I've very much been enjoying it. I'm going to try to run some more games with the community tonight over on Tabletop Simulator. So hopefully we're going to jump into some highlight clips of the gameplay that we can talk about.
I remember this deck. Okay. I'm going to untap.
Hope you don't remember it too well.
Trust me, I do not. And my Marvin Murderous Mimic now has Kelsian's ability to tap and deal damage.
Oh.
You guys don't mind, do ya?
I don't mind if you don't block my...
I want to do 3 damage to Hoenn.
Oh, Nick, thanks for saving us from the blasphemous act.
You're welcome.
He's not the Green Goblin yet, Nick.
I'm like, Norman Osborn's the Green Goblin? What the?
No way.
Non-white creatures with power 3 or greater don't untap during their controller's untap steps.
Yucky.
I'm gonna take it. You know what? I'm a man. I'll take it. I'll take 9.
We'll take 9. Okay, and then I will
Bing, bing,
tap Phyrexian
bing,
Tower to
bing,
sacrifice the Cordyceps in my main phase.
Yep.
And Sephiroth will deal 1 to you.
Doing. Good game.
Good game.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, that would be fantastic. If you want to show some support, you can head over to the nixlotus.com website to use our Scryfall search optimization tool, the Lotus Refinery, or head over to the merch page to get the Teneb the Harvester crewneck sweatshirt and Rock the Dragon Reanimator King on your clothes, baby. And if you want to show some additional support, you can head over to the YouTube members page or the Patreon members page. Starts as low as $1, and you can gain access to the deck submission form where you can submit your commander decks for me to review on Friday night live streams. So, little incentive there. Big shout out to all the people you can see on screen, and click on one of the 2 videos you can see on screen because YouTube thinks you might like it. I will see you guys next time. Peace.